open RIOC staff positions. I would like to get an idea of everything that's open. I'd like to get an idea of whether or not we have job descriptions, whether or not things have been posted, and basically any kind of updates you guys have for me.
Okay.
And what I would like to do, and I'd like to tell the public, some of this may get into individual names. If it does, I'm gonna ask to go into executive session. If it doesn't, we'll just talk about.
Right, and what I suggest we do is that, you know, we just go through the open positions and where we are on a general non-discussion of past or present personnel.
Yeah, I don't want any
Right, no,
names.
and then we'll do that so everybody's
Well, I think
here.
we would have to go into
No, right, so
Right.
no, we certainly have to go to
On the other
session.
hand, the general issues certainly should be debated before the public. It's clearly become an issue of public concern, as it should be, in my view.
No, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is just for the way to work this more smoothly and out of respect for the people who are here, we'll go through the stuff we can do publicly.
Right, I just want you to be
generally
aware that if I
first.
call for executive sessions,
Right.
because we're gonna be naming
Right,
names.
but I think even if we do that, we should do that on the tail end. If it comes up, we'll come back to it and we'll do that all at the end.
Absolutely.
Everybody
Imagine
can-
I
why we
agree.
need to. Let's find out what's going on right now.
We currently have 7 open positions, 2 of which are executive staff. Those positions are, starting with facilities manager. This position reports to the engineering department. It is an administrative position, not a union position. Although this person does supervise union staff, they are responsible for basically running the day-to-day workings of the maintenance facilities workers who deal with all types of everything that needs to be fixed in our properties and
How long is
You know,
Some-
one thing I just wanna do to frame the conversation, Claudia, I'll let you keep going, but Claudia did mention it's a non-union position, and maybe one of the things you
Yeah, I'll
wanna,
get into
yeah,
that.
you wanna go,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
the non-union versus union, there's a difference, we'll get into that.
How long has this position been empty?
This position has been open since March of 2012. It was posted publicly. We had an overwhelming response to it. However, at the time, the management of both the department and the executive management of operations decided to hold off on filling the position. It has been reposted.
Do you know why?
I think at the time, the engineering department was just simply overwhelmed with projects and interviewing multiple people just didn't work out.
But it's been posted again?
Yes, it has.
Is that posted or is it appointments?
It's through the appointments office, which I'll go.
You go over, okay.
Yes. The next is the Director of Information Technology, which is, although it is a high-level position, it is not an executive staff member. It is also an administrative non-union position. It has been open since April of last year.
Well, as I recall on that one, there was a decision made, I don't recall how the decision was arrived at, that we were going to be rethinking the requirements of our
Correct,
IT
yes.
department.
Mm-hmm,
There's no point in hiring someone who might turn out that we didn't need someone after all.
mm-hmm.
Which may be the case for some of these.
Yes.
Okay.
The next,
We're gonna have that discussion to figure out why we haven't come to a conclusion on that issue at some point.
the next position is the President CEO. This position has been since September and is being handled by the Governor's Appointments Office.
Say that again?
It's been open since September and is being, viable candidates are being searched for by the Governor's Appointments Office currently. The next is an administrative assistant position in the Public Safety Department, which has been available since mid-December, last month. We have sent this position to the Appointments Office, which I will go over at the end.
And we'll explain why that is. at the
It
end.
is being,
It's a
we are
change.
currently
Maybe a
looking
good
for,
one.
yes. The next position is the Vice President of Operations, same situation as with the President and CEO, and it also has been open since mid-December. The next, 2 positions actually are not, these are 2 extra, they will be not be available until April of 2013. They are new positions that were added into the budget for 2013-2014. One is for project manager, and the other is for an additional facilities person, staff person. One is non-union and one is union. I was alluding to before, we have been advised by Albany that all non-union positions must first be sent the job description, and all of the specifications for the jobs are sent to the appointments office. They will do an initial search. They will get back to us with any candidates that they have, and at that point we can then go to the outside if we do not find a viable candidate through their sources. So any of the positions that have been posted currently are posted through that source.
And is that a new requirement?
It is an updated requirement. We always went through to them for certain level positions. We have been advised that now all non-union positions go through them. For
Do
the,
you know if that's the same in all agencies?
Great question.
yes,
I believe
it
it
is. It is. The union positions are not.
When we had that conversation, it wasn't phrased as specific to us, it's the way things are just done. So I think the answer to that is yes.
So Margie asked your question, which I shared, and first you got a yes or no answer, and now you're hedging backwards from that yes or no.
No, I think the answer
No,
is yes.
the answer
there,
is
and
yes.
Claudia knows more about it than I do, but
Okay.
I'm just giving the rationale behind why that would be yes.
Evie in Cyopperman's group, somebody told me that she's gone.
She.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Oh,
Go with
sorry.
an individual, you
Yeah.
should probably go with the
I'm
executive.
sorry, didn't
No,
mean to
well,
do this.
if we're done, then we're going.
No, I thought there was an opening, but I could be wrong. And no, I didn't mean to do that. I apologize.
I have a general question,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you can answer it, but it's my concern. If the state's policy, written or unwritten, is that all appointments go first to the governor's appointments office, do they understand our urgency here? No disrespect to your fine work, Don, we haven't had a president since September. Pretty quick to fill a vice president operations job. It's been only a month, and that's another big job, but September is a long time. Do you have a sense that the governor's appointments office is giving us any due consideration, extra due consideration, or understands the necessity of, we have big deals about to happen here, big things. We have to have strong leadership, strong affirmed leadership, not happen. Can't understand that.
I think they do understand, and I think that's part of why they're being so thorough in their search and not just sending us any old resumes. The reason for what Tom was saying before, the reason that it's done through the appointments office, we are not a regular state agency, so we're not part of civil service. These are non-compete jobs, so you don't take a civil service test, and then you get, which is the way normally you would get into a state agency.
And also it was historically called appointments. My understanding, and I know all because there was recently some restructuring, and they have they have a coupling. I can look into it further, but I don't know the facts. But they just renamed
I
it
think
something
there
like
is another
recruiting or something, and they're partnering with a private entity to make it more like a private search firm process. There's something to that effect. I don't know all the details, but I can look into it.
Well, I'm not gonna challenge the state's methodology, but I continue to reiterate that concern, we need to be.
And I can reiterate what Claudia said. I think they're very well aware of the urgency to fill the positions and the needs we have here.
And when they called and said that they're gonna be filling anything that's non-union, did they say how long they get before we go to the outside? Did they say how much time, just like?
They
Like-
said
like
on
the law.
average it would be 3 to 4 weeks to give them before we would do any sort of outside search.
But that we should follow up with them and see where
to
they
follow
are.
up with them first. So we've sent them, a couple of things in December because we had a lot of jobs that came up then. And we are about at the time where they should be getting back to us, or we should be
Or proactively reach out to them.
Right.
think about the process is that it's slowing us down immensely. And what I feel about the process is that I don't think the urgency is quite understood at the state level, or possibly, perhaps the state can do a better job than we can of finding the caliber of person that's going to be required to. This has to do with what I see as our next big task, as opposed to all the little tasks which require full staff and all of our time anyway. It has to do with the Cornell development. How, as a practical matter, we would need to search out a person who is capable of confronting with Cornell and the city and the state and hammering out agreements which, if not particularly advantageous to us, are at least fair to us. And that's going to take an incredibly high-powered, high-caliber individual. And I have no idea how to go about finding such a person. And if the state has the ability to find such a person for us, I would probably, unless we knew that the person was completely unacceptable for some other reason, I'd probably tend to ratify the decision anyway. Yeah, but it can't be just some person out of the woodwork. You know, whether we find them or the state find them.
And you wouldn't feel at all uneasy about us not having tried?
Oh no, I think we should try. I think we're trying now. I was prepared to, until Claudia and Don assured me that the state considers this a high priority and understands our need, I was prepared to suggest that we write the governor directly a letter on all our signatures saying, where's our new president, or can we go find one? And just put it in so many words, not because you want to hassle with the governor, but because we need a president. And they have slowed down our process immensely, dating back to October.
Never.
Well, I'm sure that they will do a wide-ranging and detailed search, having more expertise than we can marshal, and having even having more staff people to interview more of the candidates. Would we get a candidate back from them? Would we get several qualified candidates? We have no way of knowing. And suppose we were offered someone, we still have the issue that this is a corporation. This is an entity that we're familiar with on a day-to-day basis, and we could have a very qualified person who we don't feel matches the environment that the person will be working with, the community that the person will be serving, and that becomes an uncomfortable issue. You know what we have to think about. What is our response given a well-qualified person that we don't feel, and this would be the product of a great deal of searching. This would not be a snap judgment that this person is not the best match that we would hope to see. We would hope to see someone else perhaps. Is what sort of response can we have? Does this provide a break, or are we going to be at a loss for words in the end of the situation? Will we be able to have constructive dialogue? We're not sure about that at this point. And certainly we would look forward to dialogue. And certainly I personally would give points to anyone offered through the governor's office that they have been well satisfied as a correct background for a situation such as this. That they feel assurance from their end that the person would properly vet. If we were doing a search, we would have that issue at the end of the process, that we would need to have a suitable candidate that we feel is properly experienced and suitable for the community, for the corporation, and then have to worry about vetting. So one way or the other, this should be a cooperative exercise and not one that's adversarial.
I have been and remain pretty sure that I don't think, performing due diligence, I don't think we can automatically accept anybody. I think it gives Bill Clinton, and we couldn't automatically accept without some interviews and some, the discussions about his
No
suitability.
problem turning him down.
Hmm?
I have no problem turning him down. Not a fan.
All right,
Busy
Hillary.
at the Golden Globes.
Hillary, I'd take in a heartbeat.
But I would still demand the right for this board to interview her and to make her own decisions as to her suitability before you went along with it.
I think we're all trying to
Just
be
finish it
politically
up.
very safe
Yeah,
here and
just
very
take
good.
it.
Fact remains, we've been over 3 months, we've given,
That's the
we've
issue.
turned this over. I think, I personally, if I were in the ABO and came down to this organization, I would say to this board, what the heck are you doing? You have a fiduciary responsibility, show me what you've done in support of that, and the answer is, we've done nothing.
But
I'm not
we
comfortable with that.
had meetings.
Yeah, we talked about doing something, and the bottom line is, we've done nothing. I personally would like to hire a search firm and start looking. If in the meantime, the governor's office comes up with somebody, I think that's wonderful. I can, if you prefer another route, we could write to the ABO and say, what are the other entities doing? Because they're supposed to be the guys who give us guidance, right?
If that's true, authorities budget.
That's what they said in the training.
Oh.
They're supposed to give us guidance for this.
When did you take that
I'm just not
training?
comfortable sitting and waiting anymore. Took it several years ago. So it's out there, guys. What are we gonna do?
Well, no disrespect to your views and opinions, Margie, but
I don't get
If
to do
this
it alone.
comes
I
down-
understand that.
if this comes down to a question of what makes you comfortable as opposed to what makes other people comfortable.
We'll do what makes everybody comfortable.
Well, people generally just like to be comfortable.
I like to be comfortable too. I'm not comfortable right now.
Good.
But my being uncomfortable, I certainly can't start this process. I need you guys to agree. I need the rest of the board to agree. So. Question is, when we go to the board on Thursday, do we suggest that we start a search or do we not? Tape is still on, guys. There really is this much quiet in the room.
Look, my understanding, our responsibility is to the corporation,
Yes, it is.
and we can't see the corporation hobbled by our inaction. Now, what you say that they've been, well, of course they know about some of these positions,
Yes.
and you're waiting for,
I'm waiting for either further guidance or a supply of candidates to start calling into
I would somehow like to send a letter to the ABO CCing the office that is now conducting the search, that reminds them of the executive positions which are not tenanted right now. The fact that these positions have been known to be open, or anticipated openings for now for a couple of months, even for operations. We knew the opening would be occurring. And that and to remind them that the business of the corporation is being hamstrung by these vacancies where other members of staff are forced to do extra duty outside of their primary expertise to cover these positions. And unless they provide really useful resolution and advice, we will be forced, as we understand our fiduciary position, to institute a search by immediately by February 15th, by the end of the month, some date
End of the week.
where they have a chance to respond.
I was with you up to the point where you mentioned by when, big.
Well, we're talking, we're
just setting a deadline for
we're explaining our need, talking about our responsibilities,
Yes.
asking for their help, and then suggesting that unless they're able to help, that we need to take action.
That's four things.
Yeah,
I'm with you on all four.
okay.
That's
But
a
I'm
smarter
not-
letter than the one I suggested.
But now I'm thinking of, what's a good date for the date? And under what circumstances do we create such a letter?
As a general policy, and bigger than a RIOC policy, I never threaten and I never give ultimatums. Because if you give an ultimatum or give a date, then you have to meet them and go ahead and do your thing. And that puts you into all kinds of weak positions. I'm not talking about RIOC or state government. I ain't talking about the government, I'm talking about God. No threats, no ultimatum.
Okay, so no dates, no date in the letter.
State our need.
But otherwise, then we're back here. I mean, then we're back to 3-4 months, we don't hear from them, how long do we wait? I think we have to say, we have to take an action, and we intend to take an action by,
We can determine, stay with me, we can determine the date by which we write to them again. Having not heard from you, we're not gonna move forward. Don't put it in the letter to them. When the time comes, write that letter. On that date, we start searching. We've asked for your help, we haven't gotten it. Now we must begin our own search. Don't put it in the letter, don't put that date in the letter we send to them.
I don't know, I'm more from the corporate environment where I wanna know if somebody's gonna do something by a certain date and give me that option.
It's good, these are good things, these are good skills to have.
Well, how about I draft up a letter, run by you guys?
Court, I would suggest that you, draft a
Suggest
letter.
Howard draft a letter.
Actually, Howard should, he doesn't have to sign it right away. Why don't you draft
Wanna
a
draft
letter?
a letter?
Okay,
Just
If I
with
can
4
make
points.
of course.
Nobody has a closing point. I just want to say for the record, while people are here, there is, and these positions should be filled, I agree. But there's been a lot of conversation about the corporation being hamstrung and these type of issues, and that, it is better to have more executives. But while people in the room, I wanted to thank people like Claudia, Arthur, and some of the other staff that are here that have been staying long hours, coming in early, working diligently, pulling a lot of other weight, and have the corporation running very smoothly and efficiently. And of course, other executives in filling positions that are open would help. There's nobody denying that. But, I don't want there to be an image that somehow the place is not running smoothly now or effectively, because people like Arthur really is pulling a ton of weight. Steve is pulling a lot of weight, Claudia is, and others are as well. And, as the person who is the acting president now, on behalf of the staff, and just to make a statement, things are running very well. So, I understand the concern, and we should get them, but I don't want that to be the narrative, because quite frankly, I definitely think we should have the positions filled. I'm not debating with that. But if the narrative is that somehow the corporation is not running smoothly because, whatever events have happened, I think, people should know that there are people here working incredibly hard and doing very good work and making sure things happen and making sure the board is informed of issues are addressed, and that things are getting done. And I actually think that a number of things have gotten done in the last few months that have been languishing for years under previous people, when new people got in doing other people's responsibilities, and a lot of things have moved forward and the place is moving pretty well. But that's all I really wanted to say on the record, because I don't want to get that
Okay,
wrong story out there.
again, also on the record, I want it to be clear that I feel things are moving, and I feel that the corporation is fulfilling its responsibility. No one should doubt that I feel that way. No one should doubt that I fully appreciate the effort that so many people I know are making. And I speak to a lot of different staff people at different times, and I know about the effort that's being made. I'm looking forward to have people having more normal hours.
And that's one of the reasons we wanna fill
And be-
these.
and being able to pay strict attention to their primary responsibilities instead of jumping and running the bases a little bit faster, as I know they have.
You guys have a right to expect direction and support, and just quite frankly, more helpers to do things. These positions have got to be filled.
I apologize if anything I said gave the impression that I had any big problems with the way the agency is currently being managed. I know of nothing that's being missed right now. No slowage, no stoppage, no slippage. Am I aware of in any department? My issues are more along with what Howard, but specifically Margie said, and also the issue I iterated earlier. We are beginning the next big thing. I've just been going on for years. We're about to get our feet wet up to the hips for the next big thing. And we must have someone in place. No reflection on you, Don, in your acting role, or anybody that's been involved with the Cornell thing. But there must be a level of leadership that has the full faith and credit of the entire corporation and the state behind it to continue these negotiations as we get to the rough stuff. And just the fact that, regardless of your competence person, the very fact that the word acting in front of president in your title is a weakness. Whether it's just a perceived weakness, I can't worry about that. Not that there's any weakness in what you're doing, but you're negotiating with people who have the feeling, well, he's acting, but that doesn't mean he's the real deal. Even though I know this is the work you're doing, which makes sense.
Thank you.
We need a president.
We need 7 people, or we need to at least discuss some of these positions, and some people and possibilities
What we
in each
need,
case.
what I know we need a top administrator of some kind in the operations area, so that these people can go back to their regular jobs. And we need a president. And those are the 2 that I'm aware of, which are most imminently required. Despite your assurances, I don't think the state quite understands it. I'm not yet convinced, despite your assurances. But you can say it again, and I'll appreciate it just as I did before.
Okay, so Howard, you're gonna write the letter,
And I meant to mention Alex as well when I was listing the names.
Sure.
Alex
You
is
couldn't
doing
mention
it.
everybody.
No,
I'm sure
well,
they're
it's
all-
everybody, but
Yeah.
this one, Alex is pulling out of it. I just wanna make sure, cause
Okay,
anyway, thank you, David.
you'll draft the letter,
Yes.
presumably we'll bring it to the other board members at Thursday's meeting? If they agree
Should we
with
take a
it?
look at it first?
Oh,
or-
absolutely, look at it first.
Yeah.
And as soon as we agree, we'll bring it Thursday, assuming everything, we can come up with one.
I think so, and to get it, just hammer it in under other business or newer new business or the last item on the agenda, whatever it is.
That can be within the presentation of the governance committee.
There you go. I would now
I
like
missed
to
it,
talk
you
about.
draft a letter to do this Thursday, okay? on the
I mean, it's not gonna
governance
be a formal approval, you'll read the draft, and if people
We'll read the
want,
draft,
they'll
and if
sign
they-
on Thursday.
Right, and we'll do, yeah. I would now like to talk about specific individuals for some of these spots, so I'm gonna
Move, we're going to
to
executive session.
executive session.
I move.
Okay, we're now going into executive session. I didn't close this, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go and take
You can do whatever you like.